So let me see. Give me 1 minute. Uh, it seems the background is okay. Let me remove the background. Yes. Okay. So, hello everyone. Welcome to today's class. Today is our third week, and then gradually we are coming to, getting close to the reading week. So, as you are aware, the title of the course is Social Work Research and Program Evaluation. Today we are going to look at a very interesting topic, which is mixed method in research and evaluation process. So, but before I start, I have to outline the agenda for today. One is about community news, as usual. Two, class activity and discussion. Activity 3, I'll do the normal presentation and lecture, and I encourage you to ask as many questions as possible so that I can clarify some of the things. And then we will do short exercise trying to assess your understanding of the content today towards the end, and then we'll wrap up nicely. Hopefully, we should spend about 2 hours, hopefully, in this, adventure or endeavor. So I'll begin with the community news. Any information news or any question that you want to ask? Any
Hi,
questions,
Professor.
comments? Yes, Shauna?
Someone was just before me. I can't see who it was.
Okay, who is that?
This is Antoinette, the other Antoinette. So,
Antoinette, okay.
sorry.
Go ahead.
So I saw that in the group, we are only 2. So are we going to work as 2 people, or we can just add ourselves to other group that then other group can have 4 instead?
Which of the group is that? Is it a
For the first
presentation group?
assignment, yes. And also for the second assignment, so we are only 2. Like no one else has been adding to our group. So I was wondering.
The first assignment 2 is enough, either 2, 3, right? The first assignment 2 is enough, but the second one probably should add yourself to another group. If you add, for example, yourself to another group to be 6, is okay. I will be okay with that.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, thank you. So both of you should add yourself to another group, which is 4, to make 6. That should be fine. Are we good? Is there any question again?
Yes, sir. I have a question.
Yes, Shana, go ahead.
Can you tell us what is going to be on the final exam? Is it going to be all of the content, or are you going to give us some specifics so we can kind of prepare ourselves for it?
I'll give you specific slides. Normally, it can, you can, do the whole week. I'll give you about, 5 weeks, right? To prepare for that.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Thank you too. Any question again? Somebody asked me a question. I don't know whether the person is here or that he or she or they saw something different in the bright space. I don't know where they got that from, but normally I work with a course outline. Is that right? I do make a lot of changes from time to time. So in terms of, is it page? Page limit, in terms of group in an assignment, I do change most often than not. And I sometimes when I transfer the content, it may contain old information hidden somewhere. So we are working with the course syllabus, right? So if you find anything in the course syllabus that is contradicting, just let me know so that I can address that as quickly as possible. Is that right? So that's why I mentioned about provisional course syllabus, right? I want to work with you. I intentionally do that. You see, I want to, you to know that life is not about perfection. Is that right? And you can't be a high achiever if you are a perfectionist. Do you know perfectionist? Somebody who is like perfectionists normally tend to delay on things. Is that right? They will always, spend their whole life on one task. But high achievers normally they work. They are. Understand that there are some. Mistakes here, and there. They correct it. They work around it. They improve. They are always want to improve, right? But perfectionists want to always make sure that everything is perfect to their to their taste. But what is perfect to your taste may not necessarily be perfect to somebody's taste. Is that right? So in life, uh, strive to achieve excellence, but perfection can also try and limit you in ways, one way or the other. So that's why sometimes I bring you the course outline. I ask you to go through, contribute your ideas. The whole notion that knowledge is not acquired from an individual, right? Nobody is the repository of knowledge. So I believe your ideas, your contribution can also make the course very effective. So that's why I allow you to do that. So always I start with a provisional course outline, meaning I'm looking for your scrutiny, your suggestions, and then we change, right? Sometimes I do change the page limit. Sometimes I do even change the group, number of people in the group. I do change based on students' recommendation or that. So take note of that. So if you see something like that, it's not that I'm not organized person, I'm organized person, but I want to give you the opportunity to also contribute something in the course as well as in the class. So that's it. Class activity, yes. So I'll divide you into 4 groups, and I want you to brainstorm these questions because it will serve as foundation for what we are going to do today. And the questions are as follows. Describe the basic form of data collection in qualitative research evaluation. Describe. Then question 2, list the different types of interviews or interview questions utilized in qualitative research, and give example of each type of question. Question 3, how can a qualitative research prevent personal bias or influence from contaminating the study? And I'll give you direction. You can select one person who will do the presentation and one person to keep the time. I'll give you maximum of 10 minutes to do that. I want you to talk to each other. I want you to get to know each other, right? So I put you in a group randomly. Please do show your face. Let your friend know who you are, right? Let people know you. It's very, very important. You may not know who you meet in an office one of the day. Maybe the person is your classmate and all that. So take note of that and try and whenever you are in a group, show your face, communicate, make friends. I always tell students it's always good to make more friends than enemies. Is that okay? In life, it's always good to make more friends than enemies. Any question before I divide you into groups?
Are you gonna put the questions in the chat? Like I can't see the question.
Don't, the question is on the screen.
No, your screen
don't
is
see
just
it.
the first page.
Oh, sorry. My apologies.
Accepted.
Nobody informed me. I was just going. Is it working now?
Not yet.
Oh, what's going on?
Okay. Yes, we can see now. It's off
Okay.
again. Yeah.
Okay. Okay, a minute. So, do you see my screen?
No. Yes. Yes.
Do you see now?
Yes, sir.
What is on the screen now, as you see?
Class activity and discussion.
Okay, excellent. Yeah, that's it. Yes, James, you want to ask a question?
I'm just wondering if, in the articles that you presented, I only see 3 of the 4 posted. Unless I'm missing something, but acceptance of in adolescence and health of LGBTQ young adults. I don't see that posted unless I'm missing it somewhere.
Are you sure? Yeah,
I don't know.
Yes, you posted 3. You posted just 3.
Just 3?
I have it. I
Okay.
can put it in the chat for people to download.
All right, perfect.
Thank you.
Can you share with them, Shauna? Is it Shauna or who said you want to share?
Yeah, it's Shauna.
Okay, good. Okay, good. James, is your problem solved?
Shauna, when you were talking about posting into the chat, are you talking about the article I was requesting, or are you talking about the questions that he posed?
No, the article. I did that right before you started talking. I'll put the article in the chat.
Okay.
I just
All the articles are online, right? So, take notes. Are we good? Okay, so now let me divide you into 4 groups. Please brainstorm these questions and then let's come back and have a fruitful discussions. Oh, what's going on? Okay. I noticed somebody said, okay, you are in a 4 group. You should tackle each question, right? Each of the questions, everything. But when we come, at least 1 or 2 people will present in your group. Okay. I've created a group now. Almost 10 people in a group. Open it now. So kindly join and let's come back.
Hi, Dr. Dimi. How are you?
Good. Samar, how are you?
I'm good, thanks. Sorry, I just logged in 8 today, so I was in the medical lab. Sorry.
Okay, no problem. So, I mean, they are in a group. They will join you right now. They will come back. Okay.
Okay, thanks so much, Dr. Dimi.
Yeah, I asked them to look at the questions that I gave. So, let me see. It should be okay. So I'll bring them back soon. I'll close the meeting right now.
Yeah, okay, thanks.
Okay, no problem. Okay, let me close the. So welcome back. We are still waiting for a couple of people to come back.
Professor, may I?
Yes.
I'm just going over my notes and I just want to make sure I understood some stuff quickly while we're waiting.
Okay, good.
For inductive logic, I basically said like moving from data to theory, and then for deductive logic, I said moving from theory to data.
Data to theory. Okay, yeah. Yes.
Does that make sense? Like, is that a good summarization of
Good,
it?
yeah, good summary, yes.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you too. All right, I think everybody is back. All right, let's start by. I just want anybody, I mean, each one of the group randomly pick one question and then respond to the question, and let's see. Antoinette, your hand is up. Do you have a question?
I will start first.
Okay, wonderful. Which group is that?
This is room 2.
Group 2, okay. Group 2. All right, go ahead. Which question do you want to respond
So the
to?
first question, we came up with the question. Sorry, I don't have the question. But the answer we have is
No, the question is on the screen. Do you see my screen, by the way?
Of course I do.
Okay.
So the first question is, describe the basic form of data collection in qualitative research and evaluation. So we came up with interviews, focus group, evaluation, observation, probing question, reflecting our social location. We also came up with form of ethnograph, where they submerge themselves in the community. And we have evaluation of okay, this one I'm not sure what I'm saying yet, but it has to do with involves looking into themes and coding.
Okay.
And
so yeah, go ahead. Oh, you want me to go ahead?
Am I reading all the questions or am I just picking one?
No, just one. Let's keep to one. So you see,
I should have picked the last one. So
yeah. Okay, go ahead.
So like ethnographic observation, like you're observing real life settings and you're taking field notes. And we also had documents where you're reviewing reports, records, and journal or policies.
Yeah.
For those one. And then I said interview earlier. An example of that is like a one-on-one observation with people experience.
Okay.
And
okay, wonderful.
pretty much that's what we did. I wish we had picked number 2 because we had more information on that, but it's okay. I'll give everybody a chance.
Maybe you will add those information. I mean, after the other groups have taken their. I mean, yeah. So, Dana, your hand is up.
Wanda?
Sorry, Wanda,
Yeah.
Wanda.
Okay.
Okay.
I can do question 2. We're group.
Okay.
List the different types of interview questions utilized in qualitative research and give examples for each type of question.
Okay.
The first one we did was descriptive questions. So invite participants to describe experiences. So an example would be, can you walk me through a typical day at the youth center?
Wonderful.
Our second one is like grand tour questions. So broad open-ended questions that set the stage. So example, tell me about your experience accessing mental health services within your community. The next one will be probing questions used to deepen and clarify. So can you tell me more about what made that moment challenging?
Okay.
Contrast questions, so exploring differences and comparisons. How is your experience with the new program different from an old one? Feeling questions, explore emotional responses. So how did that situation make you feel? Opinion or value questions, belief or judgment. What do you think needs to change in the system? And then that's all I have. Clarifying.
Wonderful. Wonderful. I mean, you all did very well. What you do is that put whatever you've written together in a Word document, send it to me, all of you. I will post it so that you can all benefit, right? I like the idea of co-creating knowledge, so that's good. Kenzie, do you want to go next?
Yeah, so I'm going to present for my group. I guess I'll do question 3. So the answers that we came up with was so presenting neutral-based questions, making sure that our questions are structured in a way that don't implicit any bias, or the answers would be come back as obstructive to the research. Also, the practitioner would practice reflexivity to ensure that their biases or their outside influences don't contaminate the study. Address any power imbalances head on, and that would include checking yourself and your body language as well to ensure you are remaining open. And that also means remaining open-minded. And then confirming a neutral understanding between the practitioner and participant. So making sure that what we are obtaining from their shared experience is what they're saying. So that can be done by like rehearsing our understanding to them to get the confirmation that that is what they are contributing. And
wonderful.
That was all we got. I'm sure we could have went on, but we ran out of time.
Wonderful, wonderful. I like all of you. I like your answer. So put them together, send it to me. I'll share with the entire group. Group 4. I mean, you can just volunteer to answer any question. Group 4, the last group. Who is presenting on behalf of Group 4?
Is that me? I don't know.
Okay, sure. Then that should be you because go ahead.
So that's still question 3. Okay. We spoke about reflexivity and identifying social location and biases. Triangulation to ensure that oh dear, I lost my train of thought. I'll just move on. Peer debriefing and member checking and following up to make sure that the information and how it's being seen and viewed is correct. And that was it. We ran out of time.
Yeah, you all did good. And that's one point that I want to emphasize. Even try as much as possible to remove anything that will lead the participant, right? To know, for example, what you are looking for. So look at a typical example of a researcher who, conducted a study about mixed couples, right? Mixed couples, their marriages and stuff. And he wanted to know how, for example, even the learning environment can influence participants' responses, right? So in some of the interviewed, he interviewed people at convenient place, right? And then he interviewed some other groups in his office. this is a person who is, married to, a different race, right? And the picture of him and his family placed in the office. And what he noticed is that when participants who came to his office to conduct an interview, they have some kind of glowing tribute to like mismarriages or miscouples. But those who he interviewed at a convenient places, were able to say whatever their mind is, right? So the whole idea is that the moment the person realizes that you are, for example, part of mixed couple, right? The person will not say whatever he or she feels or they feel, right? Because the person doesn't want to hurt you or he doesn't know what your allegiance or what your perspective is. So the person will try to say something that will please you or that will, something that you want to hear. So don't lead the participant to knowing what your thought is on a subject. Is that all right? Ask the participant in an open manner. Don't let the participant know your bias because the participant will go with you. Is that okay? So that's one thing that I just want to add. Any question before we move on?
I just wanted to add on to that from our group. I don't know if Kenzie had a chance to say this or I missed it, but going off what you said, another note that our group spoke about was that your words are, or sorry, your body language is just as loud as your words. And so leading your interview, for example, where you're asking questions and you're like asking them looking down with your arms crossed and intimidating them to answer in an objectively correct answer that you want to hear is like also like persuading a different result from like what
absolutely.
So just because you're not vocally saying like how you want it to be answered, you can also do that like through body language as well.
Yes, absolutely. So we have to learn about all those stuff. Wonderful.
And you can also like
go ahead, Maria.
I didn't lift up my hand. So you can also like, if you go in a room with your biases and with your your own beliefs, you can change the questions to get the answers you want.
Exactly.
Right? You go in and you're like, well, because that's how you feel and that's how you think. You can change the question. So you have to make sure that when you go in there, it's just open-minded, change your glasses, and clean the slate, start over when you walk in.
Absolutely. You have your own perspective, but you want the perspectives of the participants. So you don't have to taint it by giving any suggestive questions or gestures or whatever. So very, very important. Yes, James?
And once we do gather data, information, and verbal conversations, one of the things we do after we've gone through the theming and coding, and then we come up with what our results are, we bring it back to the community to confirm that this is what's been said. I don't know if that was elaborated on clearly, but the other part was I talked about in our group was when we go into a community, say I go into a Tikmikshing First Nation, I'm gonna, maybe I'm gonna sit with elders and knowledge keepers first, and I'll go over some of the questions I have, and then I ask for their input and how even the wording should be, or even if that is something that is necessary, and what's important to be asked here.
Yes.
You know what I mean?
It's very, very important. So you work with especially when you are doing studies with the indigenous community, right? You need their input, right? Because even language is issue, right? Even language can, derail all the objective of your study. So letting them contribute, letting them know what you want to ask and helping them, them helping you to guide you how to put it in a better way that the participant will understand makes very, very good, sense. Yeah, absolutely. I like the way all of you, your answers, tells me you've learned a lot from, this and the other courses that you took. So that's great. Good to hear. So now let's move to the next segment of the class. which is going to be my usual presentation. And please feel free to ask questions, or if you want to chip in something to make your colleagues understand better, I mean, feel free to do that. I'm always, I always allow that and encourage that, because as I believe, knowledge is collective exercise, right? Okay, so before we, discuss this week's topic, which is about, mixed method. So when we talk about mixed method, I know you know. What does mixed method mean? Anyone? When we talk about mixed method, what do you mean?
Well, it's a matter
Qualitative. Oh, go ahead.
of questionnaires, as well as, like it's both qualitative and quantitative.
Yes. So when we talk about mixed method, we are talking about combining both qualitative and quantitative method. Last week we discussed briefly about qualitative research. Today too, we'll talk a little bit about it. But what we mentioned about what to include in research design, qualitative research design. Can you remember any of the items that, or any of the things that you should add or should focus on when you are designing qualitative research? Should I give you an example?
Was it
Yes, Kenzie?
was it like
I'm guessing. I'm not totally confident in this answer, but I think it needs to be evidence-based.
Okay, evidence-based, yeah. Evidence-based is research. I mean, mostly it involves decision making, right? When you want to make any decision, it should be based on evidence, right? And so on and so forth. But we mentioned about specific things that when you are designing qualitative studies, you should try and focus on, or you add. So let's see. Your name again, is it Ashba?
I have no idea why it's my, never mind. I have to change that. It's so embarrassing. I just realized I signed in on the wrong email. Anyways, it's Ashley Nutter.
What's your name? Because if I'm taking attendance, I want to know.
Yeah, I'm going to change that. I have to figure out how to sign in under my my Algoma. I've never done this, so I don't know.
Okay, no problem. What's your name?
It's Ashley Nutter.
Oh, Ashley. Okay.
Yeah, it's me. Is it me?
Ashley.
I might have the wrong answer, but are you talking about like I have like a printout from one of the lessons. I'm mixing it up from another research course, but it's like conceptualizing the study and then planning the study, conducting the study, and then communicating the results.
Yeah, that is the main research, right? But when I'm talking about research design, right, I'm talking about specific thing, right? So conceptualizing, introduction, literature review.
So then you have to like identify the research question first, right?
Yes, these are all part of the main research. But when we talk about research design, it has to do with how you collect and analyze data. Is that okay? Research design basically deals with how to collect and analyze data. So I saw somebody's hand up. Who is that?
It was me, Kenzie.
Okay.
I was going to give a second shot at it. So I think I'm remembering from previous class, designing the qualitative study. It involves focusing on the process as much as the outcomes.
Yeah, you focus.
Yeah, okay, so I'm getting on the right track now.
It makes sense. But let's look at research design. I mentioned research design is the process of collecting and analyzing data. So the first thing that you should focus on is what? Data collection. Do you understand? Do you get that? Data collection, yes. Somehow.
Okay, I could be wrong. I don't know. But was it like who will you study? Like the group that you're studying to include in the design?
Yeah, that's the group that you study are the participant or respondent, right?
So will that be included then in the research design or no?
Yeah, it will include. So they are those you are going to collect data, of course. So you include them. So yes, participants or
okay, so when you said like the qualitative research design, you said like it's how you will collect data, right? And how you will analyze.
Collect, analyze,
how you collect, how you analyze.
data.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
How to collect, analyze. So I mentioned even two: data collection, data analysis, and what again? Yes, Jessica.
Is it data presentation and triangulation?
Yes.
Triangulation,
yes.
sorry.
Data presentation, absolutely. Yes. Who again? Rochelle.
I just have down people's words, advocacy, community, lived experience, interactive. I'm not sure if that's what it was.
Can you repeat?
I'm thinking
what
that's
you just said?
so. I have down using people's actual words, advocacy, community, analysis, lived experiences, and interactive. Was that a part of what you're talking about?
Yeah, that's part. So, for example, the analysis, right? Data collection, data analysis, data interpretation, as somebody mentioned, presentation, right? Data presentation is part, and so on and so on. They are all in your notes. So, take note about that. So, what is program? What is program? Who can define program, or who can explain what a program is? Wonderful. I can see hands here. Let me see what are those. Jessica, yes. Program. What is the program, Jessica?
Yeah, I have here like an organized collection of activities designed to reach certain objectives.
Absolutely. Jessica, are you looking to your notes?
Yes, I am.
No. I want you to just, figure them out. Okay. All right. So that's good. So I will.
Professor, I think
Yes.
someone has their mic unmuted, like someone who's not talking, and all you hear is like the back noise, like background noise.
Sorry, that was me. I was trying to figure out how to sign back in on my Algoma. Sorry.
Ashley, there's still like 4 other people. It's not just you.
Yeah.
Now there's just one.
I'm muting people. So when you are ready to talk, then you just raise up your hand and unmute. Okay. Okay. Good. All right. So that's good. So let's go to the last. Chidima, I saw your hand up.
Yeah. What I wanted to say is, like you were asking what a program is.
Okay.
I was thinking, could it be a collection of projects, that has a collection of projects to meet a specific or an outlined objective.
Yeah.
That is in line with the organization's purpose or the organization's goal. Could it be something like that?
Absolutely. All right. So last week we also discussed about types of program evaluation. Who can name one? Types of program evaluation. Yes, Kenzie?
Yeah, needs assessment is what I was going to say.
Needs assessment, yes. Needs assessment. Yeah, Justine or Justine, right?
Process evaluation.
Which one?
Like how it looks. Process evaluation, like how it's going, how it's being delivered.
Yes. Process evaluation is also type, yes. Any other? Yes.
I think
wonderful.
Outcome evaluation, no? I think we
outcome,
talked about
yes.
that last
Outcome
week.
evaluation is also one. Yes, good. Wonderful. You see, people are now revising their notes. Ashley.
I was going to say impact evaluation.
Impact evaluation.
I got that from another class.
Okay. Yeah, we can talk about impact as well. So impact may be monitoring, right? Monitoring of process. So yeah, it makes sense. Lauren?
It's more so about the effects of like the program and the outcomes like presented rather than monetary.
So the impact will be more of the outcome, right? As it will form part of the outcome evaluation. So you are right. Lauren?
Is client satisfaction?
Client satisfaction, yes. Client satisfaction. Shay? Shay? Or did I mention your name right?
Sorry, you didn't hear me. I said formative and process evaluation.
Yeah, formative and process evaluation. Okay, wonderful, wonderful. I like that. So before you come to class, write a little bit of your notes, and then actually, do you want to add something? Hey, baby, how are you? Actually, do you want to add something?
Sorry.
Or just a legacy hand? Okay, good. So let's look at what we are going to talk about. Uh-oh, what did I do? Uh-oh. All right. So let's look at what we are going to do today. So I'll start with just going over qualitative evaluation, right? And in qualitative evaluation, there are some components that we look for, or the ingredients. So basically, we focus on naturalistic inquiry institute, right? Meaning natural study in a natural settings, right? Reliance on research as instrument of data collection. What do we mean by that? Reliance on the researcher as instrument for data collection. How do you understand this statement?
The person doing the work and the reliability of them?
It makes sense, but not exactly.
Sorry, can you reframe the question, please?
The question is on the board. Reliance on researcher as instrument of data collection, and I'm asking, how do you understand this statement? Yes?
Are we talking about like the authority of the researcher?
The authority.
Like, let's say if the person, let's say now, for instance, when let's say if the person is an expert in that thing, let's say let me use a medical doctor, for instance, collecting there. So looking at that medical doctor, does he really understand what he is doing? What extra authority or knowledge does he have above
So
the
yeah. So you are talking about the expertise of the
expertise
researcher.
of the
Okay.
researcher? Yeah.
Yeah, it makes sense. But Jessica, do you want to add something?
Is this about, like, for example, that the researcher is not biased, that he's not putting his things into the research?
It makes sense, but that's not what I'm looking for. But what you said makes sense. Shay?
Yeah, I was kind of thinking along the same lines, but I was more kind of understanding it as like the person that the person that we're asking the question. So if I'm the researcher, then the reliance is on that individual, right? That they need to trust me, that not focusing on their own personal biases. Like, so if I were asking the questions, that they're not going to change their answers because I'm a white woman, right? So that they are only considering me as an instrument of data collection, so that they trust the researcher. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. Yeah, it makes sense. Sonnet?
Yeah, I was thinking more of what I write down here. Like respecting the role of the researcher.
Respect the role of the researcher.
Like, yeah, respecting him like he is like the method or the way of collecting like the data. So just respecting, his role and, trusting that maybe he'll do a good job. I don't know. That's what I came up with.
Yeah, it makes sense. It makes sense, but I need something similar. Okay, James will be the last. James?
I'm just thinking that the data is only good as the individual collecting it. So that instrument has to be, it's also inclusive as part of the data.
Yeah, it makes, very, very sense. The data is good as the individual collecting it. So, and that same way boil into, what is it Chidima said about expertise or the data collection? Okay, Tamika want to say something. Tamika, do you want to add something?
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like the way that I interpreted it is that the researchers, they like collect and interpret the data instead of using like a standard test, I guess. So the way that they gather it and the way that they interpret the information that's being given to them influences the data collection.
Yeah, it makes sense. What you said, it makes sense. But I'll polish it a little bit. Yeah, last one. Oh, I like,
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah,
people
sorry,
saying their mind. That's good. Yeah.
Just to kind of reframe what who was it? Sorry, James and Tamika. So now my understanding is a little bit shifted. Before I was saying that that instead of their personal bias, instead you should consider the fact that the bias may be taken into account, right? So if you are the instrument of data collection, then you should be part of the data collection. So it should be included in what your research, when you're putting it all down on paper. The way that people are responding may also be because of the way you ask the question, the area that you are in, who you are as a person, and things like that as well, right?
I mean, all of you made a very good point. So basically, when we talk about the reliance on the researcher as the instrument of data collection, then we ask ourselves, what is an instrument, right? So, for example, in quantitative studies, the instrument of data collection can be questionnaire, survey, or online poll, right? This online poll, you can send through email. Nobody is there. The participants themselves will read and respond to the question, right? But with regards to the qualitative study, right, the interviewer or the researcher should be the interviewer, right? Should meet the individual face to face and collect the data. So as somebody mentioned about the expertise, the expertise of the research, I mean the researcher must be what? Must be good, so that at least you know how to direct the questions. Normally in quantitative studies, we don't have full questions that you want to ask participants. You have what we call interview guide, right? So I'll have about my interview guide about few questions, 5, 10, 15, depending on whatever. Then when I ask you based on your response, right, then I will do a follow-up. So the person who is collecting the data is an instrument on its own, because you can add and eliminate questions here and there, right? Yes, Chidima, I saw your hand up.
Yeah, please, I have a question because I'm not sure I got it right. I didn't get one when you discuss focus on naturalistic inquiry in situ. Can you please help me and explain a little further, please?
Yeah, so focus on the naturalist, meaning you collect the data in the natural settings, right? Basically, the researcher will go to the person and then collect information that is directly from the participant, not a secondary form of information, right? So here, when we talk about in the natural settings, right? For example, you can go ask the participant, where exactly do you want us to do? Oh, I want you to come to my home. I want you to meet in my office. I want us to meet in the mall. Depending on where the participant is comfortable. Of course, the place should be also serene, meaning quiet, so that when you record, there won't be any interruptions and then distraction and so on and so forth. Is that right? Yes, Chidima.
Okay, if I get you right, so that focus on naturalistic inquiry in situ is more of location where the interview is going to be held, like where we are going to have the interaction, whether it is in an office, it is a library, anywhere that the participants are comfortable. Is that
the
what
type
I
of
heard
the
you say?
information? Yes.
Yeah.
And the type of information you are collecting is natural settings, right?
Okay, so it has to do the nature and the location where you are gathering the information from.
Yeah.
Okay.
That report which emphasizes narrative over numbers. So in qualitative evaluation, we focus on narrative, right? Qualitative evaluation, we focus on the narrative, the stories of the participants, right? Rather than the numbers. We don't focus more on the numbers. So proponents of qualitative evaluation hold diverse opinion on positive, scientific research and the pro and con, right? So, for example, we all know mostly quantitative research is regarded as the most scientific research, basically because it has to do with numbers. You have to also analyze your data using statistical analysis and so on and so forth. But in qualitative studies as well, we have what we call randomized control trial, which is more of quantitative studies. And this is regarded as the golden standard in all program evaluation. So those who are qualitative evaluator, they have divergent views. Some support the randomized control trial, others believe it's more positivist, right? And so on and so forth. But I think we will get to know more as we move along. Randomized control trial play a very critical role, right? So there are criticisms of randomized control trial, right? As I mentioned, because there are divergent views as to whether it is the more scientific or others also criticize it for being too Western or positivist perspective. So some of the criticism involve one, it doesn't seriously consider the ethics surrounding the random assessment, right? The ethics surrounding the random assessment. What form the basis for your randomization, right? It doesn't pay attention to that. Two, it doesn't consider the volatility of programs in the real world situation. So you may introduce a program today. It depends on the nature of the environment and other factors, right? Many things can happen. For example, Rochelle gave an example of they're introducing a program and then the COVID came and then it destroyed everything. That does not necessarily mean that they did a poor job, but it's a natural phenomenon that occurred. And therefore, the fact that you introduce a program doesn't mean that nothing can influence how it operates. But quantitative doesn't take account of that a lot. Now, it ignores the likelihood of attrition and dropout, given the demand of assessing a substantial number of subjects over a period of time. So when we talk about attrition is that when you conduct randomized control trial, assuming you selected 30 people to be part of the study, by the time you finish, maybe 2, 3, or 4, or 5 might have dropped out, right? And then dropping out can influence your results. It may be the case that those who are maybe one view, they drop out of the study. But when you do other methods like the quantitative natural inquiry, interviews, and so on and so forth, you may capture a whole lot of perspective as well. But all qualitative research needs to be empirically driven and adhere to standards for rigor and qualitative control. What do you mean by empirically driven? It should follow a systematic way of conducting research. Start with the introduction, conceptualization of ideas, having your research questions, having your literature review, design, and so on and so forth. Yes, Janet?
Professor, just a quick one. On the previous slide, what exactly did you mean by the last part where it says random assignment?
Random assignment?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Okay. So when I talk about random assignment is that, so randomization is the probability of each participant. For example, let's assume that you have, let's say, 30 people as a population. Is that okay? When we talk about random assessment, means any person, any one individual from the 30 group has equal chance to be selected, right? Has equal chance to be selected. It's random, right? So I can just write all the names of the 30 individual, fold the paper, put it in a bowl, then shuffle, and pick one. Is that okay? So that is what called a random assessment. But in qualitative studies, we don't do randomization. We do what we call purposive sampling. You understand? Purposive, why? Because we want to select individuals who have the information we are looking for. Is that all right? So that's the difference. Did I answer your question?
Yes,
okay.
Thank you.
Thank you too. So when is qualitative evaluation useful? When? So the choice to use qualitative evaluation and what type should be driven by the research goal. What do you want to achieve? Or what questions do you want to address? Right? Or the objectives of the study. And mostly in qualitative research, we are interested in how and why questions. How and why. How and why. Right? How was the thing done and why? The reason behind that. And qualitative evaluation also suitable for formative evaluation, meaning the initial evaluation. You know, we have formative, we have process, and we have outcome evaluation. Is that okay? So the formative evaluation is more like the feasibility, right? You are introducing a program, or you just introduce a program, you want to know how it works, pros and cons, right? So that's formative. And then we have process, and then we have outcome. We will talk about all this, later on. When to use a qualitative, also items like staff morale, executive decision-making, cultural understanding, and client perception are difficult to capture and quantify. So you may want to use qualitative evaluation when you want to look at the staff morale, when you look at the executive decision, what goes into the decision-making process of the executives. Cultural misunderstanding, right? Meaning cultural, is it competence or cultural awareness? There's the whole debate as to how can somebody be competent in somebody's culture. Is that okay? So instead of saying cultural competence, you may want to say cultural awareness, as some will have it. So these are when to, for example, use qualitative evaluation. Another point we have to also notice that qualitative evaluation allows researchers to examine complex phenomena without structured data collection and have immediate benefit for participants, right? Complex phenomena that you cannot assess using numbers. Is that okay? So take note of that. Of course, everything has pros and cons. The pros are the advantages, the cons are the disadvantages. So qualitative evaluation also has limits or limitations, right? So in a way, we can say some of the disadvantages or some of the demerits of qualitative evaluation. One, it's a trade-off of choosing depth over breadth. Is that all right? So depth means we are looking at the quality rather than the quantity. Are we good? Are we good? It says.
Sorry, can you re-explain what you mean by depth and breadth?
Yes. So I'm saying it's a trade-off between depth over breadth, meaning you are choosing depth over what? The breadth. So you are choosing the quality of the information rather than the quantity. Is that okay? So we know when you are doing quantitative studies, you have to get a large sample size, right? And look at how many percentage agree and how many percentage disagree. How many percentage of the population of participants are food insecure and how many percentage are food insecure and so on and so forth. So these are what we call the breadth, meaning quantity, right? But you are looking at the depth. Depth is quality because when you, get to interview an individual, you are able to go deep to understand the individual, right? You ask every question that you think is necessary because the moment you ask the first question, depending on the response, you ask follow-up. Anything that you don't understand, you ask for backup or, follow-up questions. Is that okay? So that's it. Also, qualitative evaluation is not well suited for evaluation that require data from large numbers of participants. So if you are studying people, about 1,000 individuals, it's not ideal to use qualitative evaluation, right? Because why? You have to get a sample size that is representative of the individual. And there are formulas by which we can use to calculate the sample size, right? So that's another point. It's time and labor intensive. What do we mean? Meaning that it takes time. Because when you interview an individual, you can interview an individual for 45 to 60 minutes, right? And the data you are going to get, you may get about 50 pages, 20 pages, depending on how fluent the individual or how, well the individual want to communicate with you. Of course, there are some people who are economical with their answers, right? So you ask them, how has your experience been? It's good. Why did you say it's good? I don't have any issues now, so I'm okay. Why? But if somebody, when you ask, how is your situation now? The person will detailed, right? What she or he or they are going through. So it depends on the individual. So it means that you are going to end up having bulk data, sometimes 200 pages of text that you have to analyze. But you, as the researcher, of course, your whole report should not be more than 40 pages. Yet you have about, let's say, 200 pages of document. So you have to decide what you want to present, especially meeting your research objective. So it's a lot of work. It's also a lot of time. That's why we say time and labor intensive. Any question?
I have a question.
Good. Go ahead.
So, like you just said, there's sometimes where you have to cut your research down, and it's mostly you cut it down to the things that you feel are the most important parts. So sometimes, like, I'm not saying all the time, but sometimes there might be things that you thought weren't important, but then like it becomes important later. Is there like a way that researchers sort of like they usually save like the 200 word file and then they have the trimmed down? Oh, that's awesome. Okay.
Yes. I do have my, data I collected 2017 is there. And I do publish it. Normally, when we collect the data, we have a lifespan of between 5 to 10 years, right? So you focus on what immediate research question are you addressing. Then later on, you can come into the data again and look at addressing some key point that you think is necessary, right? And so on and so forth. So you can collect one data. That's why we can collect one data, but we will publish about 5 articles out of that. Good question. Any other question, comment? Okay, let's go. Less useful when making or deciding precision is required. What about precision? You want to know what percentage of the population, let's say, are homeless, right? You have, let's say, Susemeri. Let me take example, Susemeri. And I want to know what percentage of, Susemeri population are homeless. I cannot use qualitative research. I have to use quantitative. So when it has to do with precision, when it has to do with numbers, qualitative study has limitations around that. Is that okay? So frequently presented with, quantitative finding in mixed method. Okay, so this is just an information that I want to give you that mostly, yes, James.
Well, I was just going to add to that, like if you're looking for the quantitative aspect of population of in terms of homelessness, but then if you wanted to drill down, then it would become qualitative when you had individuals that you're talking to from that select population.
Yes. So after the opposition, so that's why you can combine qualitative and quantitative, right? So that you know the experiences of the homeless people, as well as getting the precision, the number, the percentage, or the proportion of the population which are homeless. Are we good? Justine, is everything good? Okay, good. So rise of implementation science has given new impetus to understanding process of program adoption and change when applied to new settings. Implementation science. Is that okay? So basically, we used to, conduct a whole lot of research, and then we end up not practicalizing those research, right? Implementation science is they take the research funding and put it into use. Is that okay? So last week, I think, is it here or other class, I mentioned about applied science. What is applied science? Can anybody give me an example of an applied science? Any program that is applied science.
Like chemistry?
Chemistry is a natural science. Yes, Jessica?
Like, for example, mechanical engineering?
Mechanical engineering, right? So mechanical engineering will pick the theory from physics, right? And put it into use. What other? Any other?
Even
So
health
James,
science. Even health science too is applied.
Yes, health science, right?
Anything that has to do with real people and solving of real problems is applied.
Yes. So James, you can also talk about industrial chemistry, right? You mentioned chemistry, but you can talk about industrial chemistry where they use the knowledge from chemistry in industrial production and so on and so forth. So that's the same way they talk about implementation science. So qualitative methods, evaluation of practitioner institute. Okay. So qualitative method focus on chapter on qualitative at a program or community level rather than individual. Okay, this is an information. Observation and interviewing qualitative technique play an important role in social work, practice, and studies. So most social workers, you daily conduct qualitative interviews because when the client comes to you, first of all, you are observing the client. You are looking at action and inactions of the client. That is an observation. And you are asking questions to be able to what? Provide services. Is that okay? So observation and interviewing are skills that every social worker should develop. Because you are going to what? Use these a lot in your work or in your line of work. So individual level problematic because one, possible role confusion for practitioner trying to understand, institute. Let's look at that. Which one? Poor cost benefit payout. Qualitative inquiry has holistic and contextual focus. Individual treatment encounter may become decontextualized. So here we are talking about individual level challenges that either client, service provider like social worker or any other human services may look at. For example, confusion of being practitioner trying to understand, right? The issues or the challenges that the client may have, and then deciding how to address those challenges requires some level of experience. Poor cost benefit payouts. The services that you provide and vis-a-vis the outcome, right? Does it inure to the benefit of the client? Are we looking at the economic costs, or we are looking at, for example, social costs? Are we looking at economic benefits or social benefits? So, for example, when I provide service to clients, it involves investments in terms of money. But at the end of the day, I want the client to have what you call social benefits, right? So I will be able to assess my cost effectiveness by how my services improve the life of the client. Even though I'm not getting money back, the improvement in the life of the client is what we call social benefits. Is that okay? So we take care of that. Just look at it. So now let's look at design. In terms of qualitative design. So qualitative design are systematic, like, for example, the quantitative. It is not haphazard, right? Meaning it's not something that is done out of context, right? It is systematic. That's why it's called scientific. So evaluation involves a set of decisions, starting with the decision that qualitative methods are appropriate. So when you are doing qualitative evaluation, you have to make certain decisions. And one of the decisions is you are determining which of the approach, for example, you want to use to evaluate the program that you are going to evaluate. Even the decision to use qualitative approach, right, is also part of the decision-making process. And always the unit of analysis typically refer to the individuals. You are looking at the participants. The participants are those that are going to form the unit of analysis. In qualitative studies, when we combine it with the quantitative studies, right, or evaluations, then we have what we call the mixed method design. So the mixed method design begins with the decision of whether the two sides are carried out equally or concurrently. Sequentially or concurrently. What do we mean by sequentially or concurrently? So you are going to do mixed method studies, right? You can decide to, first of all, start with the quantitative studies. When you finish, then you follow up with the qualitative studies. This is what we call the sequential. James, are you good?
I'm good, thanks.
Yeah. So that's the sequential, right? But when you talk about concurrently, meaning you are doing both together. You are doing both the qualitative and quantitative together at the same time. So it is up to you, the researcher, whatever you are evaluating, to decide which approach are you going to use. whenever you are using mixed method. Later, we'll talk about which one should be the dominant and which one should be the, what do you call, the minor. So if sequential, then you have to also decide which one goes first. I said sequential is where you do one, when you finish, then you do the other. Are you going to start with the quantitative studies and then follow up with the qualitative, or you start with the qualitative study and then follow up with the quantitative? Yes, Chidima?
Sorry, my question I wanted to ask, like when you are talking about mixed method, you are talking about combining both quantitative and qualitative research
Yes.
design together.
Yes.
Combining quantitative research and qualitative research in the same
Research,
topic
yeah.
research that you're doing two of them at the same time.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that's what I mean, yes. So combining two. And I mentioned that in combining two, there are some rules and regulations. One, you can decide to do what we call sequential or concurrent. Sequential is you do one, when you finish, then you do the other. Concurrent is when you do both together at the same time. And I'm also saying that if you are doing sequential, there's another decision you have to make. One, am I going with the qualitative first, or am I going with the quantitative first? Is that okay? These are all decisions that you have to make. Or are both sides giving equal weight? So then you can also, yes, Dana?
Sorry, I just wanted to ask, so when deciding which one to, like, is there a right or wrong answer to that?
No, there's no right. There's no, it's basically you, the researcher.
Your decision.
And what you are studying. There's no right or wrong. Yes.
Thank you.
Thank you too. Yes, good, James.
I'm just thinking that either way, whichever one goes first, one essentially supports the other.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. So another decision that you also have to make is that are both sides giving equal weight, or one is dominant? Is that okay? Are you going to give one to be the dominant? For example, your study is merely quantitative, but you just want to interview few people to support whatever you are doing. Or you want to give equal weight to each one of them. That is also depends on what you are studying, and the researcher is your decision to make. And how would these two sides interact over time? How do these two sides, the qualitative and quantitative, how do they interact over time? Interact in terms of even the process of data collection and also reporting. Will you report the qualitative information? When you finish, then you report the quantitative, or you let them interact with each other, right, in supporting each other. For example, you provide a precision. 30% of the participants are food insecure, and then you cite Madam so and so, explain how she feel about. So you kind of merge them together. It depends on how you do that. And there is no wrong or right answer here. It depends on the approach and whatever you are studying. Any question? But whichever approach that you may take, or whichever decision that you may make, as an individual or a researcher, you should ensure that both sides have integrity, meaning both sides are credible, right? Credible. Make sure you obtain credible information. Your process of data analysis is also credible, and so on and so forth. So Any question before I'll go to gaining access? Any question? Sorry. So, as a researcher, first of all, we collect data in a given environment, right? How do we go to the environment or the settings or research site? Whatever you want to do is that, for example, when you are writing the report, you have to describe the research settings or the study area. Describe it. Let the reader know about the place. So, for example, in your research design, you start with the what? Study area. This study was conducted in Sault Ste. Marie. Sault Ste. Marie shares border with the US, the state of Michigan, right? It takes about 20 minutes to drive from Sault Ste. Marie, Canada to Sault Ste. Marie, what do you call, US, right? And then majority of the population are into white-collar jobs like nurses, doctors, professionals, and few are into trading. So you give the reader an idea, right, of the study area where the study was carried out. But how to gain access to the community? There are ways by which we can do that. One, must gain the trust of all shareholders, which often require gaining permission of the gatekeepers. So, you see, when you are going to a community or you are going to an organization, let me use an organization because we are doing program evaluation. You are going there to conduct, for example, a study. You have to, first of all, gain the trust of the people. Because if you don't, why do you think you need to get the trust of the people? Anyone? Why do you want to conduct a study in an organization, let's say women's shelter or whatever, or food banks? You want to interview some people who are working and people who come there for, let's say, food. And we are saying, first of all, you must gain the trust of the people. Why do you think it's necessary to gain the trust of the people? Yes, Jennifer?
I think when it comes to building trust, it's the beginning of the rapport with the person, and it allows them to be comfortable enough to discuss why they're in the situation they're in and why they need the help they need.
Yeah. Okay, good. Chidima, you want to add something?
Yeah, like getting a trust of the individuals also has to do with the quality of data you're going to get, the kind of information that you're going to get.
Yes.
Because if the person doesn't trust you, definitely he or she will give you wrong information, like that will not make sense to you. But where they trust you and they feel safe, and they feel that whatever thing they'll tells you is not going to be leaked out, is going to stay between you and them, they'll be open enough to give out the information. So for the quality of the data and accuracy of the data, I think that's getting the trust is very, very important.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, and Antoinette?
Did you say Antoinette or Janet?
Antoinette, I saw her now.
Okay. I was just gonna say, you have to gain the trust of everyone, not just one individual. You know, you have to convince them.
Okay. Yeah. Who is speaking at the background? James, you want to add something?
Yeah, if they don't trust you, they won't participate.
Yes. To get participants. Yes. So we mentioned about the accuracy of the data. We mentioned about the participation. We mentioned about what again? Somebody else mentioned Jennifer mentioned something. I forgot exactly. Yes, absolutely. Janet?
Rapport.
Rapport, yes. Janet?
It also creates an ethical environment.
Okay, ethical environment, absolutely. Absolutely. So getting trust of the people is very important. Assuming you just go into the organization and start asking questions, people will be suspicious. They don't know whether you are from government coming to spy on them. They don't know whether you are a tax collector. They don't know whoever you are, right? And therefore, they have to, you have to gain their trust first. Sonnet?
Yeah, I was thinking also gaining trust would also help people to be like vulnerable. They could
Okay, yes.
speak with that feeling.
Yes. Allow people to be vulnerable because you want people to express their emotions and all that. If they don't trust you, of course, they will not do that, right? Absolutely. Yes, Ashley?
Just one more thing going off of the trust. I was going to say, depending on the demographic that you're interviewing or wanting to participate, then they might have had previous trauma with authoritative figures. So if you come off presenting as such and they don't know who you are or what your purpose is, then they might not trust you. So building that rapport and trust with them helps you gather the information that you're sought to find.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Perfect. So must get the trust of us shareholders, which are meaning the researcher, the participants, and the gatekeepers. We have gatekeepers. Gatekeepers are like opinion leaders, and people who have authority in the community, right? So, for example, if you are coming to conduct a study in Sault Mary, of course, you have to get in touch with the mayor, right? Mayor will be like a gatekeeper because he is in charge of the whole community. You want to talk to the MPP and so on and so forth. So these are people with authority that can ask you to continue or to stop, right? So these are what we call the gatekeeper. We have to get what we call rely on key informants, right? Key informants are different from gatekeepers. Gatekeepers are people with authority. Key informants are people with knowledge on the subject. And they know who in the community, right, can also give you the accurate information you want, right? So you have to rely on these kind of people. Reciprocity, payback, and feedback. So when we talk about reciprocity, meaning I do you, you do me. Somebody will say, right? It's a music. I do you, you do me. You see, respect is reciprocal. When you respect people, they will respect you back. When you disrespect people, they will disrespect you back. So reciprocity is very important. How do you maintain reciprocity? One, researcher communicate what study will entail. Is that okay? Let them, be free to tell them what is the study about? What is your goal? What is your objective? What are they going to do? Are you going to interview them? Are they going to perform an activity? Whatever you are going to do, let them know right from the beginning. So it will help them to make informed judgment whether they should participate or not. Should negotiate how findings will be presented. So, for example, the participant may ask you, so how are you after a research? So what? Right? You are coming to get the information. After the information, and so what? Oh, after the information, I can give you the copy of the publication. For this community to also benefit from. I can come and present the findings with you for us to discuss the pros and cons, so on and so forth. Negotiate with them. Don't always impose what you want to do, but rather solicit their ideas, right, of what they want you to do. Or do you want me to come and present the findings after the evaluation? Oh, no, we don't really want. We just want only the copy of the publications or the report. Okay, yeah, we want you to come interact with us and so on and so forth. And the reason being that, participants will also raise something that they want you to address. Is that okay? You went there for a specific purpose, but they also have some issues that they want you to capture in the evaluation or the research, and you should be able to do that. You should capture that. Now, okay, should negotiate. Okay, payback can be monetary incentives, informal staff presentations, giving feedback, or sharing final results. I mentioned that, right? You can share the report. You can even give them money, right? Maybe, when I was doing my postdoc at U of T, I conducted a study on food security in Scarborough. And then because I'm doing food security, it will sound weird to go and interview somebody for 1 hour, 2 hours, and finish and say thank you. Is that all? So what I did was to give them food vouchers or a gift card, right? No frills or Walmart gift card, so that after the interview, take it. Thank you for. It enabled the participant to know that you value the information that they share with you. Is that okay? It's a way of respect and reciprocity. Feedback should be done with caution to avoid resentment, right? Participant can, get angry at some point. So when you are giving feedback, know what you have to do, right? In order not to invoke their anger, right? And so on and so forth. Any question? Oh, sorry. Any question? I like that, discussion today. There were a lot of questions, so it's really helpful. Okay, let's look at the sampling method of qualitative evaluation. How do we sample in qualitative evaluation? So we use what we call purposeful or purposive. Take note. We have purposeful or purposive. Yes, Chidima.
Sorry, my question was on the previous slide where you talk about giving compensation to the participants, like giving a kind of reward. Now, my question is, when you give that kind of reward, does it not affect the quality of the data? Like, does it not compromise it? In the sense that maybe, like, after let's say you gave one person, right? Then the subsequent people that are coming, they know that, okay, if I come and do this interview, at the end of the day, they are going to give me something. Does it not like compromise, giving you some kind of information that might not, false information, kind of maybe just to come and participate and get the reward, or even people that doesn't, will I say that ordinarily they wouldn't have come, but because there is something in everybody likes free food, right? Because of the free food, the person is not coming to, give information which may affect the quality of the data you're collecting.
Absolutely. You are absolutely right. Normally, it will not affect the quality of the data because it has an effect, but I'm just telling you because with the data, if for example you get an information which is outlier, you can eliminate it, right? But what you are saying is very, very important. What will happen is that you are going to get a whole lot of people who will come and participate, but they will not end up giving you any relevant information. Right? Because there are rules and regulations governing the payment. The payment should not be enough to entice people, right? Should not, be too huge to force somebody who under normal circumstances would not have participated to participate, right? So, for example, I gave you $50 food vouchers or whatever, right? Of course, sometimes it will be costly because when you get a lot of people, they are going to, come in. It is a lot. It will increase your cost, but at the same time, in qualitative studies, we are what we call saturation. When you start collecting the data and you realize that people are not giving you any necessary information, you have to stop, right? So there's check and balances. But of course, it's very, very important. We are doing a study, myself, Dr. Nyaga, and some students. And then these students, we ask them to we want to know the effect of COVID on the online learning process and whatever. So we were trying to recruit participants. And then one of the students sent the email call for participants, I think through Reddit or whatever. Then within 1 hour, we got about 50 responses. I want to participate. I want to participate. I want to participate. Then we noticed that after interviewing 1, 2, 3 people, some of them are even not qualified to be part of the participant. So what we have to do is that quickly we have to stop and then do another screening of those who have listed their name that they want to participate. And then we quickly reduce the amount from $20 to $10, right? Just not to force people to, for example, participate. And it may surprise you that even some people outside Canada, right, want to participate just because maybe $20 is big money in wherever they are. So yes, you asked a very, very, very important question. Any question again, comments? All right, so sampling method. In qualitative evaluation, we do what we call purposive. Purposive. Okay, let me write that one as well. So that if you, what did I do? If you see it somewhere, you will not be confused. Do you see my screen? Do you see? Okay. So it's either purposeful or purposive. Both are correct. No. Purposive. Purposive or purposeful. Both are correct. So that's how who can explain we did that. So I think everybody knows. We did that in 21, 27. So who can explain for us, please? What do we mean by purposeful or purposive sampling? James, do you want to try?
I think someone put it in the chat.
Oh, somebody wrote something in the chat. Let me check. But James, you can go ahead and speak.
Well, I'm not going to get the definition like it's in the chat, but it's about being, being direct about the units that you want to actually be able to measure, right? People that are, maybe involved in a natural event that are specific to the situation. So you want to make sure that, and purposive sampling also, that gives us the opportunity to have like snowball sampling, like through your informants, for example.
Yeah, absolutely. So in qualitative study, because we are looking for people who have the information we are looking for, we don't do random, right? We don't select participants randomly. We go directly to those we know. They have the information we are looking for. So that's why we call it purposive sampling, right? Strategies sacrifices depth for breadth. Yeah, I think we explained this one. With this type of sampling, we are looking at the depth rather than the breadth. We are looking at the quality rather than the quantity. Is that okay? And choice depends on what type of data needed and who can best supply it, right? So, for example, I'm looking at the experiences of single mothers. Will I include somebody who has not given birth? Or who doesn't have a child, or who is yet to give birth? No. because I'm looking at the experiences of single mothers. Do I interview somebody who has children but still stay as couple? No. So I'll eliminate all these people and look at somebody who has the information I'm looking for. Is that okay? And so on and so forth. What's going on? My slide doesn't want to move. Okay, good. So, types of sampling include deviant case. So when we are doing, for example, qualitative evaluation, the sampling can be deviant case, typical case, maximum variation, snowball sampling, convenience sampling, negative case, and politically powerful. So these are the types of sampling that we are talking about. What about deviant case? So we are looking at something which is not normal, right? When we are looking at, so let me assume that I want to assess the effect of school attendance on student performance. I want to know whether those who attend classes regularly, is that okay? Do perform better than those who don't attend school, maybe, or a class regularly. Then the deviant case is, I'll look at, for example, somebody who, for example, attended only one of the classes, which is not normal. And then under normal circumstances, if you fail to attend 4 of the classes, I reserve the right not to give you grade. Right? I reserve the right. So I don't expect any person to, be absent for 12 weeks. So that is a deviant case. So I may select that individual and try to find out, why are you not coming and look at the performance of the individual and do the comparison. Then we look at the typical case. Typical is the normal, right? The role model. For example, somebody who has impeccable records, right? Attended all the classes. Then we look at we can also look at the maximum variation, where I'll look at somebody who has attended all the classes and somebody who has attended only one. So I look at the variation. Then when we talk about snowball sampling, basically it's where I come to you, I interview you, and based on the information that you give me, I'll ask you, do you know any other person that has also similar information that I can rely on, right? And so on and so forth. Then, and negative cases, you look at these are just simple. And then convenient. Convenient is you do with whatever is available, right? You do with whatever is available. So maybe you go to the mall and then first 10 people, you interview them, right? It's convenient, all right? Antoinette, are you good? Antoinette, as I was asking, are you okay? Do you have a question?
Are you talking to me?
Yes.
I'm
You have a
okay.
question?
I didn't have a question.
Okay. So I saw your face and see you want to ask a question. So that's what I'm asking. Oh, okay. Let me go back. So let's look at data collection in qualitative evaluation. Most of this we did them in 21, 27, right? So I'll just touch briefly. So in qualitative evaluation, we can collect data using ethnographic observation or participant observation or the interview, right? Individual interview that I will mention, either purposive or one-on-one interview, one-on-one in-depth interview or focus group. But let's look at the ethnographic observation. depends on the researcher's ability to enter program setting, gain rapport, and observe activity with the observation recorded as field note. So basically, we discussed this one last time. So ethnography is about study of culture of people, right? And usually in ethnography, you go to the community, you stay there for a long period of time. Normally 6 months, 1 year, 2 years, up to 10 years. You can stay in the community and then be collecting data. The data that you collect, you write them on your notes. That is what we call field notes, right? Anything that you observe, you jot it down. Anything that you observe, you ask follow-up questions and so on and so forth. Then you also have participant observation. So here you observe the participant, right? You go to the settings, you sit down, you look at what people are doing. You can collect the data used by recording your notes, or you can collect what you call mental notes. You go there, you sit there for a long time, you observe them. When you leave there, you then begin to write. The reason being that sometimes when you are observing people and you are writing notes, somebody will come and ask you, what are you doing? Is that okay? Right? People will be curious to what are you writing? Are you investigating something or here and there? And that can also put you in a situation. So if the situation allow you to write notes, you can do that. But if the situation does not allow you, you collect what you call mental notes. You keep everything that you observe in your memory. When you go home, you type them and you write them down. Any question? We are still on data collection. So optimum to combine in-depth interview and use of documents, right? Use of document is what we call document analysis or content analysis. Is that okay? So content analysis or document analysis, we can call it secondary data collection, right? And then the interviews is what we call primary data collection. Best to compile an interview guide in advance. So for example, you want to go and conduct in-depth interview, you should have your interview guide. Take note, it is called interview guide. It's only guiding you, right? You are not going to ask conclusive questions because you ask further questions depending on the responses of the participant. Are we good, James? Okay, good. Jessica? Yeah, I only mentioned those I see. Okay. Ashley, Wanda, Sonette, Shona, everything good? Okay, wonderful.
I actually have a question. Sorry, I was just finishing my sentence here. So I'm making a note saying, so your point saying best to compile an interview guide, I put, so the interview guide's only to guide you in the interview, not to predetermine a set of specific questions in advance. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, good point, good question. So the interview guide, when you are going to collect data, you have your research objective, right?
Yes.
So you have to write down some questions that will help you to achieve those research objectives. So normally there will be brief questions, right? Not long.
But it's fluent, right? Like you can adjust your questionnaire based on the answers you're being given.
Exactly.
Okay,
exactly.
Perfect. Thank you.
So you have about 5 or 10 questions in the interview guide. But when you ask the participant, then you ask follow-up. Is that okay? Is that okay?
Yes, thank you. That makes a lot more sense. Thank you.
Okay, let me demonstrate something. So, for example, I'll ask you, Ashley, why did you take this course?
Because it was a prerequisite to graduate.
Okay, so why do you think it's prerequisite?
Because I need this knowledge in the real world in this career.
Okay, so how are you going to use this knowledge?
Um,
No, don't answer. We can go up to the end of the day, right? So basically, the first question will be, why do you take this? Why did you take this course, right?
yes.
But based on your response, right, I'm still follow-ups. Is that right?
See. I see.
So
And you're basing those follow-ups on my answer.
responses,
Okay.
right? Exactly. So that's how it is. So best to compile an interview guide in advance, because don't go there, unprepared, right? Can ask attitude, feeling, knowledge, and behavior question. Attitude. Feeling, how do you feel? Knowledge, what do you know about this program, right? And behavior questions. How do the clients or how do the service providers, react when you ask them for assistance? Is that okay? So these are all questions that can be in the what? Instrument. So the instrument is what we call interview guide. Is that okay? Instrument of data collection. Now we can also have what we call the focus group. Normally, focus group is where you put people together. Ideally, the number of people in the focus group should be between 6 to 12, right? Why do you think you shouldn't have too large a number? It's not good to, let's say, put about 30 people together and interview them. Why do you think is the case? Yes, Chidima.
One is crowd control, because at times when you have a lot of people there, then you might not be able to control, and there could be infiltration in the responses you're going to get, because there are so many people. They could I don't like who could be given, because one person has said something, everybody will not try to lean in that direction.
Yes,
And at the same time,
absolutely.
too, that somebody did not say anything, did not participate, is not active, it will also make the group to tend towards that direction because of the crowd. Like at times, you might lose control of the data you're going after.
Absolutely. That's, very perfect answer. Yes, James, you want to add?
Yeah, I was just gonna say to keep the focus and to minimize the time constraints, because the more people you have, the more time it's going to take.
Absolutely. Because when you have too large number, there will be distractions, right? And in general, some people are vocal and some people are quiet. Then if the number is too large, those who are vocal may take over the interview, right? And those who are quiet may decide not to even contribute. So ideally, between 6 to 12 individuals should be, good. So I'll ask you, I won't ask you, okay. When we get there, I'll tell you. So documents are available as they are less reactive. So can documents react? Documents don't react. You are going to just analyze them as you deem necessary. So, and document is what we call secondary data, right? So take note of that. Stop collecting data when there is saturation. What is saturation? Anyone? We did all these things. That's why I'm just taking my time. Yes, Chidima?
When you're getting the same information all over again, you're not really getting any new information. You're just getting the same thing. So it just means that you go on to the saturation point. There's nothing new coming in.
Absolutely. So then you have to stop collecting the data. Managing and organizing data. What time do you think is appropriate to start managing data? The answer is begin ASAP. ASAP. What's the meaning of ASAP?
As soon as possible.
Oh, yeah, as soon as possible. Okay, as soon as possible. Everybody knows ASP, right? As soon as possible. Organization is imperative, meaning when we talk about imperative, meaning it's necessary. Very, very important. Data management. So once you obtain your data, as some of you may call it data, whatever you call it, that's fine. Management is very, very important. In qualitative studies, you are thinking about how to transcribe, how to read through, how to code, and others. In quantitative studies, we collect data, but we will use statistical software to analyze. So software like SPSS, Stata, eView, they are all there. So what you do is that you input the data. In quantitative study, you input the data into the software to prepare it for analysis. Is that okay? And as you put or input the data, there's a saying that garbage in, garbage out. When you put garbage, you are going to get garbage as answers or results. So you do what we call outliers. You eliminate outliers. Yes, the data that doesn't conform to the normal, right? You want to try and find out what, for example, somebody didn't even respond to a lot of questions. So, I mean, what are you going to put in there? You can't put in 0, 0. So such data, you have to eliminate it, and so on and so forth. Data management refers to developing a system for filing and retrieval of data for analysis. So if I ask, a system for filing and retrieval of data for analysis is called, you know the answer, right? So import.
I don't know the answer. What's the answer?
I was
data
just going to
management.
say the same thing. What's the answer?
The answer is data management, right? A system for filing and retrieval of data for analysis is called data management.
Right, okay.
Important to have extra copies. Why do you think you need extra copies? I'm asking you questions because you have the background.
Just in case you
all
lose
this.
it.
Yes. You can lose it, your computer can crash, right? So how do you ensure that you will not lose your data? So first of all, you can print hard copies and keep them. You can save your document in multiple places, but you save your document with what? Password, so that nobody can access the data. Is that okay? Are we good? Yeah, so very, very, very important, and so on and so forth. Qualitative data analysis. Of course, in quantitative, we use mostly softwares, right? However, in qualitative study too, we do have softwares. Who can give me an example of software that we use for analyzing qualitative data? We did all this last year. That's why I'm asking plenty of questions. Anyone who can remember any software?
Would Excel be one?
Which one?
Excel?
Yeah. Excel is I can use to analyze data. Yes, you are right. What else? Have you heard of InVivo?
Sorry, can you say that again?
InVivo. I think they are here. We'll get there. They are the InVivo, Atlas, and I think Max or whatever. There are a lot of qualitative study software that you can use in the data analysis. So take note of that.
Sorry, Professor, can you write those in the chat?
Oh, the in vivo. Okay, let me add them in the listen.
Sorry, that would be helpful. Some of us are pathway students, so we didn't actually take the first one. I'll speak for myself on that. So knowing this and getting a little bit more clarity would be helpful.
All right. So, okay, data analysis softwares include in vivo, Atlas, Atlas. And I think we have one Max or whatever. I'll check it and get to you. No, I think it's Max or something like that. I'll check it properly. Let me delete this one. I'll check it and give it to you, right? They are all data analysis software. So when you are doing quantitative analysis, okay, let me write down for you, for those who want to learn. Quantitative. This is for qualitative. Qualitative data analysis software. Quantitative data analysis software. We have Stata, SPSS, eViews, etc. Are you good? Software.
Yes, thank you.
Yeah. So I'll post these slides after class because there's a questions that we have to address. Oh, let me check the time. Today seems I'm going too slow. Oh, my God. Okay, now I'm going to run with top speed. So data analysis. So critical ability to find meaning patterns in data and develop a conceptual scheme that is empirically grounded and richly descriptive. So data analysis is basically meaning that you are going to look at various information that you collected and look at the patterns, consistencies, right? Discrepancies, right? Agreement, disagreement. These are what you call the data analysis. And in doing that, you have to be both creative and reductionist. Coding and thematization or thematic analysis is the most common use in analytical approach. Case study analysis also require in-depth immersion in multiple sources of data. And if seeking are written to develop STEAM done after individual similarities. What's the meaning of that? There was something that I'm confused about. Okay. All right. So, I mean, written to develop teams. So, schemes are written to develop teams done after individual case of similarity. All right. Feel free to ask questions. Mixed method data analysis. So mixed method, as we know, is when you are combining both qualitative and quantitative. So rely upon expertise in each of the analytical approach. You know, some people are qualitative researchers, others are quantitative. Some are both, right? But the downside is that when you are both, sometimes you don't get to master one, right? And if you are maybe qualitative researcher too, you may find yourself difficult in analyzing quantitative data and vice versa. So expertise of the person is very, very key in this area. So one statistical, the other textual. I think this one we know. Critical truths are when and how to integrate the two sides. So you have your statistical data, which is from quantitative, and textual data, which is from qualitative. How to merge them, right? You as a researcher, you have to decide on that. One goal of integration is what? Triangulation by method of or assessing whether the two sets of findings are in agreement. So you compare and contrast your qualitative data with your quantitative data. Find out what are they agree on and what are they disagree on. This can serve as way of what? Merging the two and analyzing them. So another option is to transform the data for use on the other side. So assuming I collected qualitative data, right? I can transfer it into quantitative data. Do you understand? Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, but we just don't know how to do it, but yeah.
Okay. So for example, I've interviewed 30 people. I ask you this question, you respond. How, for example, how old are you? Or 60. Since when did you start working? Or for 10 years. In qualitative study, you have to know the participants. You can convert the data into quantitative. Do you understand? Although I type it, but at the same time, I can input them into the statistical software for analysis. The same way I can also convert some of the quantitative data into tests. So for example, you ask the individual, you give them options, but as if yes, for example, I will ask you, do you like studying statistics? Yes or no? If yes, explain. Right? Or there's a quantitative, right? Yes or no, quantitative question. But I can give you if yes, explain. If no, explain. So that explanation can serve as a textual information, right? So it's vice versa. Mixed methods help to address both process and outcome evaluation. And mixed methods are key in understanding program success and failure. However, the choice of method should be based on the goal of the evaluation and the questions seeks to address. So whether to decide on qualitative or quantitative or mixed method depends on what you are going to study. For example, if you want to know how participants fail, but at the same time you also want to know or you want some precise information like how many percent or what proportion of the participants are fully skilled, then you can combine both this method and what they call both qualitative and quantitative. So in conducting qualitative research, there are so many ways you can ensure rigorousness, right, or credibility of your study. One is prolonged engagement, meaning you stay in the field for, enough time, right, to get more information. Triangulation is also one. You compare and contrast the various data sets, right? Debriefing, meaning that require having knowledgeable and vigilant peers. So debriefing means I am a researcher. You are a researcher. After my analysis, I will share my information. Can you read over and contribute or comment on it? Then we have member checking. So member checking basically is when you collect the data, right? After your analysis or whatever, you can take it back to the participant and ask them whether you accurately represented them or you misrepresented them for them to check. That's member check. And negative case analysis is where you bring issues that, for example, are negative, for example, to your findings. Is that okay? So it doesn't meet your a priori expectation. The goal is that as a researcher, you don't only report the positive things. If you report only the positive thing, then you are not credible, right? So both negative and positive for people to know how credible you are. So these are ways. Yes, Jessica.
So you are obligated to report this negative case analysis into your in the report itself, into the study, the research?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So let me give you an example of negative case. So assuming that I am going to conduct my research and I have my a priori expectation. When I say a priori, that's always is good to in person. A priori expectation is that, for example, I will say that I'm going to conduct food security. I expect those who are working should be and get income to be food skill. Is that okay? That is my a priori expectation. That is what is known in literature. But when I go and then analyze my data and realize that those who are working are rather food insecure, right? I won't say, no, this is negative. This doesn't go with what the literature knows. So I won't report that. I have to report, right? But I should give reason, right? Why do I think that I got that negative report? Is that okay?
Yes, thank
you. Are we good? Thank you for thanking me. All right. So now we come to the report. After your analysis, you are going to write a report. What are the components of report? Anyone? Quick. What are the components of a report? Hey, strange. Components. When you are writing a report, what are the components? What are the things that you have to look for?
An introduction.
Introduction, good. What else?
Methods.
Methods is also one, yes.
Literature review.
Literature review, right?
Findings.
Of course. Findings,
Results.
discussion, these.
Recommendations.
Absolutely. Recommendations, all these are absolutely.
Even weakness of the research, strength and weakness of the research.
Absolutely. So that's what we call limitations, right? So the limitations of the study. So introduction, I think the first week we talk about this. Introduction, methods. So methods include sampling. How did you sample the participant? We did that right now. Data collection. How did you collect data? We did that. And then now you present your result. Presentation of code teams, case studies. These are all the things that we've done. Then the graphics. You know, some people are textual, others are visual, right? So sometimes you can use some tables, charts, bar chart, pie chart. What is the difference between bar chart and pie chart? Anyone?
Chart? Like a
They are all charts. Bar chart and pie chart. Yes, Chidima.
When you talk about pie charts, right? Pie chart is like a circle from the word pie, like you put them in pieces. You know, so looking at the circle, you cannot say, okay, percentage, 2% of those people, they are those. So you just put them in segments. Then when you're talking about bar charts, right? That one is a horizontal representation of information. So you have it you have like longer rectangles that shows the height, shows what's the percentage or the number that you're looking at, the outcome that you're looking at.
Absolutely. So pie chart is in a circle, and you know the circles are in degrees, right? And the total circumference of a circle is what? 360. So in your bar chart, you do your calculation relative to 360, and then in pie chart, you do it relative to what percentage? 50, 10, and thereabout. So if opportunity can be. Then, of course, you look at conclusion, right? Conclusion meaning you talk briefly about the goal of the research, the method that you use, your key findings, and if there's a recommendation, you do that. And dissemination and advocacy. Of course, after conducting your research, you have to share. How do you share it? Through stakeholder engagement. You can also do that through maybe seminars, conferences, presentations, and so on and so forth. In far-reaching consequences can be disseminated through, broadcasts. Assuming you are rich enough, right? You can go to the TV station and then buy airtime so that you explain your studies and findings and so on and so forth. Participatory and empowerment. You know what? Let's go for 10-minute break. When we come, we'll wrap up. Is that okay? We can't continue for 3 hours. It doesn't make sense. Let's go for 10 minutes break.
I'll
When we
just
come,
finish it.
let's go for 10-minute break. When I come, we'll finish it up. It seems today the discussion it's good. I mean, to have a lot of discussion, but it also take time, right? Okay, so let's go for let's go for 5 minutes break. So let's come back at 9:40.
Dr. Demi?
I think he needed the break. That's why he suggested the break.
Oh.
Yeah, I think so too.
He's been talking for like 3 hours straight. I think he just needs 5.
He needs the pause. He needs to go for washroom break.
My brain is in overdrive.
This is a lot. Like, I don't know how many of you guys took apparently the first course of this, but as somebody that hasn't taken any, this is a lot of information.
It's a lot. Like this one looks like it's less complex than the first part. I don't know.
It's very
like-
overwhelming, yeah.
A lot of material, a lot of reading.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay.
As we are waiting for break, let me take attendance quickly.
Dr. Demi?
Yes.
I noticed Dana was here earlier, but a note in the chat said she had to leave.
Oh, okay. So I'll take note of the chat too.
Are we back yet?
1 minute. Are you tired?
I've been staring at a screen since 8 a.m. Like I work 8 to 4 and then I have class 4 to 10.
Whoa.
So my eyes hurt, my brain hurts, everything hurts.
I know. It's always difficult to study research methods in the night. Usually in the morning is better, but
For me, it's easier at night because I work all day, but then I'm like, Ashley, you're tired and your brain's just shut down at night.
It's like worse though because my job, I'm literally on a computer all day. So it's like my eyes, it's like my eye exhaustion is more than my brain exhaustion. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I can't stare at the screen any longer.
I know. Studies is always difficult, but it pays, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and there's a saying, suffer to gain.
I mean, in this economy, you've got to hustle. You don't have a choice. Luxury? Who's that? Don't know her.
Yeah. Okay, let me look at how many slides do I have. I think today I asked so many questions. That's why we delayed. So maybe subsequent ones, I'll ask few questions. Let me see. Oh, I have a lot of slides.
Just put it on fast forward.
Okay.
But the thing is, I don't want you to speed because I don't know these things. I didn't take part 1, so it's...
Oh, you didn't take part 1?
No, and I know there's a handful of us in this class that are like, they're pathway students, so we joined in year 3, so we didn't have to take the prerequisite to this class.
Oh.
So I'm following, but there's a lot of terminology that I've never heard of before.
That I knew.
That's really
Those
interesting.
who
We're pathway
took the
students.
first one last year is easy for them, right? Rochelle, we did all this thing, right? You remember?
Yes, I do.
We did most of these things, right? Okay, I will go through it very briefly and quickly, right? Oh, quality control, we passed that. Okay, okay, we passed here. Audience. Here, we are here. Participatory and empowerment evaluation. So, okay, are we ready? Let's start. So, I mean, participatory and empowerment evaluation, for example, you want to assess how, I mean, individual participate either in organization or in activism and so on and so forth, right? Some of the things that we should take note is 1, overt activist agenda. There are activist agenda that are known to, I mean, a lot of people. So equal partnering with stakeholders and community directly affected by evaluation. Sources are defined as ability to empower client and then community. So mostly in a activist perspective, what the end goal is to empower the community or help the community to overcome certain challenges. So we measure success by our ability to either empower the community or our ability to remove the challenges that the community face. And of course, there are some challenges with regards to that. 1, disrupting the status quo can be a threat. If you are an activist, right, you want to change how things are done. Normally, it comes with some consequences. So there are occasions or, I mean, instances where, for example, you go and protest and you'll be arrested, right? And jail and so on and so on. So it comes with consequences. Can become bogged down by disagreements. So different organizations have different objectives and goals. And when you come together in activist work, normally sometimes each organization, I mean, may want to, profess their ideas and so on and so forth can also bring about differences and can be long-term commitment. Whether are you able to commit to be participating for considerable period of time? These are some of the things that we must look at. Rapid evaluation assessment and methods. So these are evaluation that we conduct just rapidly in order to gain knowledge about things for further studies, right? So we can talk about pilot studies and so on and so forth. One of this is that its most labor-intensive aspects are one, conducting the minimal structured interviews, because this one you are not going to do the full interview. You are going to do the minimal structured interview, verbatim transcription of the interview. So you are going to transcribe word for word. There are other transcription that you can only transcribe what is necessary, what do you want, right? Or what your research questions want to address. But you don't need to transcribe the entire data. But when you are doing the other one, the rapid one, you have to do the verbatim transcription. So it may be labor intensive to you. Open coding of data and developing teams. Rapid evaluation method developed to accommodate real world constraints, right? And so on and so forth. So, and typically we use mixed method, use semi-structured interview, and also you can also review relevant documents that is available. And timeline typically in weeks and months rather than years. So rapid, the names are very rapid. So this is something that you want to do it quick. And therefore the time limit is short, but the work is intensive, right? You have to put in a lot of time and so on and so on. This is supposed to be the break, but let's go. What is mixed method evaluation? So both mixed method means incorporate both qualitative and quantitative. So we mentioned that high quality study take advantage of the both synergies and purpose. So when you conduct mixed method, you are going to harness the advantage of both the qualitative and quantitative research, right? And often more than two unconnected studies carried out, side by side or sequentially, right? So you can conduct qualitative and quantitative together, as I mentioned in the beginning, or you can do it sequentially. You start one and then you follow up with another. Primary purpose is triangulation or juxtaposition of the two approaches to collaborate or complement each other. That's the goal, right? You want to complement, you want to harness both the advantages and of qualitative and quantitative. So it's about collaboration. How do you do that? It's by collaborating, right? Merge the two together, right? So types of mixed method design. So sequential, I mentioned about it. Concurrent, I mentioned that, right? Doing together. And then we have complicated design. This involves multiple forms of data collection. So then you have several. For example, ethnography, focus group, individual interview, survey. In my study that I did, in 2017, I combined participant observation, in-depth interview, focus group, workshops, right? And so on, so forth. So that can serve as the example of the complicated design. Challenges of mixed method evaluation. We mentioned about mixed method helping you to get advantage or complement each other, right? Each study approach has weaknesses. So when you combine mixed method or use mixed method, it means they are complementing each other. They will address their weaknesses, but of course, they do also have some limitations, right? So these are what we are going to look at. Chances of becoming expert in both sides over the other, right? Mostly, as I mentioned from the beginning, researchers are either qualitative or quantitative. Few are both, right? Few are both. I do both research, but now I do more of qualitative than quantitative, right? It's time, labor, resources intensive. So when you are doing mixed method, you need enough time because you are doing both qualitative and quantitative together. Labor, you need a lot of work to do because it involves transcription, analysis, and so on and so forth. And then resources, right? If you are going to, give people, for example, gift card, right? We mentioned that quantitative, you have to get sizable number or representative sample. So that means you have to pay more and so on and so forth. There's also a question of when one study ends and the other starts. For example, if you are doing sequential, right? You want to start with one and follow by the other. So when is one going to end and when are you going to start with another? There can be also challenges around that. Now, sequential mixed method design is time sensitive, right? If you are doing sequential, why do you think it's time sensitive? I'm asking question again. Why do you think it's time sensitive, the sequential one? Okay, let me explain.
Maybe
Yes.
if I think being time sensitive is in terms of so that it doesn't get old, like time with for you, maybe when you pick up the information, by the time if you don't put it immediately or as needed, that information could be outdated, like something new could have come up and then it become a
Absolutely.
useless data that in your hand.
Absolutely,
And you
yes.
have to start
That's
again.
exactly. Yeah, absolutely. So the timing is very, very important. Assuming you conduct this study and you wait and next year you do, things might have changed, right? Something might have happened and so on and so forth. So the information may not be as time bound as you expect. Yes, James, you want to add something?
Well, you can lose participants too.
You can also lose attrition. Yes, of course. You can lose participants. Absolutely. Good. So collecting data under heavily quantitative auspices raise doubt about authentic richness. Okay, this is just highlighting some aspect of qualitative studies. Integration of mixed method evaluation. So what do we mean by integration? Meaning the extent to which the quantitative and quantitative side are deployed, right, to maximize their complementary contributions. So one goal of the integration is triangulation by method. All right, we are looking at assessing whether the two sets of findings are in agreement. So you compare and contrast the quantity and the qualitative. Integration set the stage for new ideas and additional research, right? In sequential studies, the data analysis occurs separately on two sides, with the findings from first informing or shaping the data collection analysis of the other. So basically what we mean here is that if you are doing sequential, right, what is expected to you to do is to, for example, you are doing the qualitative. So you collect the data, you analyze, you look at the findings. And based on the findings, we'll tell you which extra information do you want through the quantitative studies. Is that okay? To be able to do that. So another option in mixed method data analysis is to transform the data for use on the other side. I think I explained this earlier on, where you can transform the qualitative data into quantitative data, and you can also transform quantitative data into qualitative data. So if you do that for concurrent design, the design that's where you have to do both at the same time, one method may be dominant, Is that okay? So these are the graphical representation of the dominant and so if quantitative is dominant, that's the representation. So the quant use capital letters, then the qual, it means quantitative use the what? The lowercase, right? Uppercase and lowercase. If they are equal, then both will use uppercase. Jessica, are you following? Okay, good.
Yes, I am.
If they are equal, they both follow. What about if qualitative is dominant? How will you present it?
Would it be lowercase quan and then uppercase qual?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. Chidima, do you have a question or you want to respond?
That was my hand from before.
Oh, okay. Yeah, so
Sorry.
when they are equal, both use uppercase. When one is dominant, the one which is dominant should be uppercase, and then the one which is the lower, minority will, take the lowercase. Is that okay? So here, quan is upper, and then qual is, the opposite is the case, qual, and then the quan. So, take note of that. Sorry
Sorry,
for
sir.
going,
I have a
too
question with
fast.
respect to representation. Like
Okay, good.
as you put it right now, quantity and qual. Does it have, like, I know that when it is small letter, it is less dominant. The capital
Yes.
letter is dominant.
Dominant, yes.
Now,
Yes.
in position where you have two of them, like, is there an order?
Both of
Like,
them
let's say two
equal?
of them are equal.
Yes,
They
they are there.
come, or is there any other, or when one is first, the other one is second, but they are of equal distance, or one is less, or
Yes.
is there a specific format for it, a specific order for it, for which it must appear in presentation? Yeah.
Yes. So the one that appears first means that's what you are going to do first. Is that okay? You see that presentation? One that appears, so for example, this one, the first one, quan plus qual. Quan appear first, meaning you are going to do the quan first, and then you follow up by the what? The qual. Is that okay?
Okay.
And then if they are both equal, right? And they are concurrent. So both are equal concurrent, both are uppercase. Is that all right? We have the concurrent and we have the sequential, as I mentioned earlier on. Okay, wonderful. So let's start to wrap up. Methods, concluding statements. So these are statements that just to wrap up all that we've done so far. Methodological approaches are not inherently tied to specific paradigm or epistemology. So what is epistemology? It's a way of knowing, right? Epistemology is basically educational term, is a way of knowing. For example, ground theory has both positivist and constructivist version, right? So ground theory, for example, you can use it in either qualitative or the quantitative approach. Data collection techniques such as interview, questionnaire, and observation are inherently tied to methodological approach. What do I mean? When you are collecting data through in-depth interview and, for example, focus group, it means you are doing qualitative studies. Is that okay? I'm drawing conclusion based on what we've discussed. And I'm saying data collection techniques such as interview, questionnaire, and observation are inherently tied to methodological approach. Most qualitative data are open to using any or all the types of data, right? So if you are doing focus group, you are doing in-depth interview, you are doing participant observation, it means you are doing qualitative studies. If you are collecting data through questionnaire, online polls, or online survey, it means you are doing quantitative. Do you understand that? Okay, good. Then third point I want you to take note or assumption is that data analysis are not inherently tied to technique of data collection. So how to analyze data are not inherently tied to techniques of data collection. It is hypothetically tied to a method possible to quantize quantitative data, right? This implies a reference to data transformation during the analysis. So for example, as I mentioned in the beginning, you can transform, for example, qualitative data into quantitative, right? By, putting them in the statistical software for analysis and here and there. So these are the questions that I want you to respond to, but because of time, I will not talk about it. I will leave it to you. Find the answer. If you want us to discuss it next week, we can discuss and I will give you the answers. Yes, is it Nico?
Hi, Professor. How are you? I just have
Good.
a question about the critique article.
Okay, good.
So in the instructions in the syllabus, it says, critique the article you have chosen using the research article outline. Where can we find that? I tried to look for it on the course shell and I can't see it anywhere.
I posted them. I posted it. Okay, give me 1 minute and let me check here. So I'll give you these questions, okay? I'll give you, this question, review them. Next week, if you like, we can have a look at it before you start the next class. Yes. It's already 10. I don't want you to.
Nicole, I think it's under week 1.
Is it? Okay, let me take a look. Sorry, I thought I couldn't find it somewhere. Thank you.
Please, I will review the question next week.
Okay.
Yeah,
good.
I would also like us to review those questions next week, please.
All right. So next week we'll start with the questions before, right?
Okay. Thank you so much.
Next week I will
Professor.
not ask plenty questions so we can finish early. Okay.
It's
But
okay.
the questions are good.
Questions makes us understand better.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Good night,
Thanks,
everyone.
Thank you, Professor. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Good night,
Bye.
everyone.
Good night, everyone.
It's cold
Good night,
out here.
everyone.
Please
Good night,
stay
Dr.
warm.
Demi.
Good.
Good night,
Stay warm
everyone.
and
Good night,
stay
Dr.
safe.
Demi.
Good night. Oh, let me stop recording.
Good night,